Okay, let's start off with our rhythm. This is going to be in D minor, and we're actually splitting it between two different minor keys. We're going to be splitting between D Aeolian minor and D Dorian minor. So we'll look at that in a second. First, let's start with this tuning, and we're tuned down to a drop D. So we're in standard tuning with our low E string dropped down to a D. So all right, now that we know that, we're going to start with our first sort of riff rhythm, and it's going to start with this open, the two low strings, and it sounds like this. And it just keeps looping that over and over. So we've got sort of in like groups of three, I'm going alternate picking, and I'm open, then up to our flat 5 at the 6th fret, then 5, 3, so we've got, and then we're going to hit 2 opens, and then 3 to 5. So real slow, it sounds like this. You can see that I'm just doing alternate picking. So at more of a tempo, we would have. All right. And that really falls into like sort of just like a blues scale type riff. We've got our root, which is the open, our minor third at the 3rd fret, our flatted 5, which is our blues note, 6th fret, and then our 4th at the 5th fret. Okay, now we come into the actual where the solo starts, and it's going to start on B flat major. And what we have there is makes our key of D minor an Aeolian key. So we have our D minor, our 7 chord, which is C, and our 6 in minor, which is B flat. Okay, and our rhythm to that is going to be sort of like in groups of 3, and then we do a slightly different group at the very end of 4. So it's going to go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go to this kind of funky looking G major chord, and this is where it actually switches from D Aeolian, which D Aeolian is, and now we're going to be in D Dorian, and the only difference between Dorian and Aeolian is the 6th note. There's our Dorian, here's our Aeolian. You can see that note is B flat. So that makes sense that this is going to be, we're going to be playing in the key of D Aeolian over that B flat major chord. And then when we go to the G major, which is a 4 chord of D minor, it's going to be major. And so this note needs to be a B natural, so it actually contains the notes of the G major chord, which that B natural is our major third of G major. And a real easy way to see if you're for like some easy theory, if you're in a minor key and my 1 chord, we'll do D minor right here. If our 1 chord is minor and our 4 chord is minor, you're generally looking at Aeolian. If you got a 1 chord minor, D minor, and you go to a major 4 chord, which in this case is G major, then you're likely in Dorian. Okay, so our rhythm on the G is going to match that same rhythm as in the B flat. So those two together. Then the last half of the rhythm, we're going to change up, and instead of going to that G major, we're just going to stay in D Aeolian, and we're going to be B flat to C major, and then back to our riff. So altogether we have. Okay, as I said before, we're in the key of D minor, and we're going to start our solo on the B flat major chord, which really kind of tells us we're in the key of D Aeolian. And you know, if we were actually looking at that modally, we would be D Aeolian, C mixolydian, B flat Lydian. So we're sort of in that sound. So we're going to start with a series of bends, and we're going to bend up to our major third of B flat, which is going to be then to our sharp 4, and then to our 5th. So we're going to start, and we're going to go bend, pick and bend, whole step. And then I'm just going to slide up and do sort of without picking. I'm just going to do another bend as that note sort of sustained. That gives us. Notice I'm not really picking any of those except for the first one. I'm sort of carrying that momentum on that same string. And if you can get a harmonic, that harmonic will carry with the bends, which is really cool. Something I never really thought about, but you know, once I started looking at it closer, it's like, oh wow, the harmonic actually carries with all the bends. So we've got it's really bending from our 5th, our 7th, and our 8th fret. Then we're going to go into this little sort of like an octave with a 5th off the B flat. We're going to go. So we're just starting on our root of B flat at the 8th fret D string, then go into our 5th, then our root again. So over that B flat we've got. Then we're going to go into our G major chord, and we're going to start on the major third of G. And what's cool about that is because we're switching modes here, and that note, the B flat to the B natural, is really the money note. It's the one that tells you you've changed keys, because that's the only note that's different between those two modes. So we're going to start on our B natural, and that's the major third of G. There's our G, and there's our major third. So we're gonna hit it, go up a half step, another pick, and then a full step bend. So we've got all together. And really focusing on the bend and trying to get like the harmonics to jump out on these bends. Like that's a good one right there to me, and to my ear. It kind of sings. It has a little more sparkle than and shimmer than just a regular. See that? And I'm getting that by just sort of raking into it with my pick and giving it a downward kind of attack. And some of you may notice I actually pick reverse grip, but when I do harmonics and especially on my bends, I tend to go to traditional grip still. So I can play both ways, but the traditional grip was causing pain. So most of the stuff I do sort of a reverse grip, but I do believe that harmonics are easier to get with the traditional grip. You really want to get it up there. Let that note sing. Get that vibrato going up there. That's a big part of it, being able to hold that pitch instead of going flat. You know, with your bend, you want to get it up there and let it sing and vibrato like a singer would. See, that was a good one. You could hear that harmonic. Okay, then we're going back to that B flat chord. And in this case, what I'm going to do is bend a half step. Since we're in B flat Lydian, I'm going to bend a half step from the 12th fret, which is our sharp 4, to the 5th. I'm really going to let that hang. And sometimes you don't have to give it a big vibrato. Sometimes it's sort of like you're just letting that note hang up in the air. You know. So we're sort of letting that note hang the entire time of the B flat major chord, and when it switches to the G major, we're going to bend from the 13th fret to the 15th, which has given us our root of G. So far we've got then we're going to go back to that B flat chord for one final time, and I'm going to outline it with this sort of like a major 7, the 9 in there, so we're going to bend up a half step. And really, we're just going to follow D minor pentatonic on that. So it's... So, real slow. And we're going to move to our C major chord now. We're going to bend up to a C from the 18th fret. And bring it down. And really, that's our Mixolydian, the C. So we see here's our root, flat 7, major 6. So here we go with that. We're going to bring it down. And then we're going to go to our 3rd of C on the B string. So that gives us back to our 5th, and then we're going to bend up to our D. So we're getting ready to come back home to D minor. So real slow, we've got... And I just kind of randomly go up to the top here. In this case, I actually snagged the note bending up into D, so that would have been a really good note to go up to. And then I'm going to slide back down into our riff.